This is a little random, but I'm a big fan of hip hop. I'm an artist myself, a producer myself. I haven't really talked about much of that on this POE page, but that is my life. That is where I started off, my first love. So I'm always tapped into the hip hop community and things going on. And there's a lot of conversations about snitching and what is snitching, what's not snitching. Do fans care? Do fans not care? And I always thought it was funny that it always gets brought back to like being a street thing. Like, somebody will say something bad about someone who snitched, and then somebody in the comments will respond like, bro, you work a 9 to 5, you're a regular civilian, you're not from the streets. Like, what do you care if so and so snitched? And I totally get that because, why do you care? What does it matter? But I've always looked at it from an integrity standpoint. Some people may argue there's not a lot of integrity in a certain street lifestyle, depending on what that is, but that's another conversation. But the integrity, as far as you make an agreement, you and another person, a group of people have an understanding of, okay, we are living this lifestyle. We gonna do this and that. This and that is a possible consequence, and you understand that, and you agree to that. And then all of a sudden something happens, and then somebody switches up because they end up in a predicament that they weren't really prepared for, but knowing that that was a possibility. So I think, to me, more so than it being like a street thing, I've always looked at it as like an integrity thing, just keeping your word to your people, whoever you rocking with. So yeah, it's not necessarily about there's just, it's become such a big conversation in hip hop that, it's just looked at as like a street thing. But what's at the core of it is integrity, so I guess my overall point is, when you get involved in something and you make a decision to be a part of a certain lifestyle, you got to deal with the consequences. That's whatever, in the streets, in work, with family, anything with friends. You got to keep your word and just be ready for whatever you signed up for.